Hello, family. How's everybody doing today? I sincerely hope that you are doing just great in this brand new year. Oh, family, there's so many exciting things going on in the world today. But what has me so excited is the fact that right here is none other than Brother Blue Wolf, the man of the people. Praise God. And he is going to be our guest speaker for today. So I sincerely hope that you will just sit back, relax, and just enjoy this man of God who travels the world spreading love, joy, and peace. Welcome, Brother Blue Wolf, to BronxNet Cable. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for that honorable, wonderful introduction.
Oh, it's a pleasure to
Uh,
have you here.
well, it's a pleasure to be here and see you, hear you,
Wow.
be part of this particular point. It's like all the places we've been and we came from, and here we are right now.
Hello. I like the
I
way
love
you
making
said
these
that.
moments precious. They're rare indeed. One of the things I'll keep in mind is that the Earth is traveling 68,000 miles an hour trying to keep up with a dwarf star, and no
Wow.
one knows where we're going.
Mm.
So that's 18 miles a second that we're moving through space. So each moment is incredibly precious when you put it in
Wow.
perspective of not measuring our journey by the time we spend, but measure it by the distance we've traveled.
Wow.
Mm.
Brother Blue Wolf, you are so profound. When I heard you speaking on Dr. Chili's radio show, I tell you, I was so moved because you sound like a poet, a philosopher. You sound like a man of God. You sound like a wise chief. You
Mm.
know, could you please share with our viewers some of your travels, some of the things that you've done?
Well, sure, I'd be delighted to. One of my favorite places, I got to tell you, is Africa. It's the only continent that's in all four hemispheres. It's pretty amazing. Much bigger, much bigger than it indicates on a map.
Mm.
And I never get enough of going over there. And I can tell you one of the memories that stands out was in Kenya with the Maasai. And I was going to meet this Sangoma, and I was excited. And so he was all dressed up in his regalia, and I mean, they love the color red, so it's beautiful. It looks like a sunset.
Yes.
And so he says to me something in Maasai, the language. I think it's Bantu or something, but I didn't understand it. But it sounded firm and deliberate. So I asked my interpreter. I said, "What did he just say to me?" And the interpreter said, "He asked you how the children are." And I got to
Mm.
tell you, it touched me in such a deep place to this day. I
Yes.
think that's the most incredible greeting
Mm.
that
Mm.
I've gotten from another tribal member is how are the children?
How are the
Because that
children?
is the question. And so then he also said, whatever you tell him, will tell him everything he needs to know about you and the country you come from, how you
Oh.
treat your children. That was on a profound encounter. And to this day, I think, it's just such a blessing, even though you have to go to the outback and the bush and the wild places. Well, they're really not wild, they're just free. These
Mm-hmm.
free places in Africa to find human beings,
Yes.
who care
Yes.
about the topsoil, they care about the water, they care about the children. These are
Mm.
the things that we should be focused on. 12 inches of topsoil, the fact that it rains, life is a blessing. And if you mix quantum physics with indigenous thinking, there's not much difference
Oh,
between our indigenous belief in the universe and the scientific explanation for the universe. They call it they call it astrophysics, they call it quantum physics, they call it entanglement theory, they call it, all these names they call it. Even the universe actually
wow.
means one song, right? So now they're starting to think with the string theory that actually everything is music. What a
Wow.
concept. The indigenous people have been saying that forever, that
Mm.
everything is born in a song. They even call it the universe translates into one song. And so it's an interesting journey that we're on to realize that what it takes to keep this sweet dream of life alive for our generations, even if it's just 7 generations, that we have to do the characteristics and become the characteristics that provide the substance and the content for such a dream. My
Wow.
grandmother said that, on the Trail of Tears, when they had to leave this place and go out to Oklahoma back in the 1830s, that they were concerned about what to do with their treasure. Huh? And
Oh,
so when the colonizers heard that, of course, they thought gold, that was the treasure. But that's not what we meant. When we said treasure, what we meant was the songs that we knew of all the plants and all the animals,
wow.
hundreds and hundreds of sacred songs that we would sing to nature. And we didn't know
Wow.
what to do with them because we call those people wasichu. It means people who destroy the life that gives us life. And
Oh,
so we didn't want to give them our songs. They destroyed everything they touched.
uh-huh.
So my grandmother, this is according to my grandmother, my great great grandmother was um, on that journey, and she said there's only one place where our dreams and our treasures will be safe.
Mm.
That's if we all come together and create the sweetest dream we can imagine from the depths of our hearts and put all of our sacred knowledge and our sacred songs in that dream. Because those people, the Wasichu, they live in a nightmare and they'll never have access to our sweet dreams. And if they
Wow.
do, then they're welcome to them if they actually stumble into a sweet dream, have a sweet dreams.
Yes.
I think that's critical in the process, sometimes often overlooked, is what we have to do and maintain in order to keep that dream alive for our children and our grandchildren, our great grandchildren.
Wow.
That's significant. So we summarize that by saying language is the fabric of our culture.
Yes.
What we talk about becomes our destiny.
Mm.
So I'm suggesting we talk about sweet things, love and forgiveness and mercy and respect and dignity. What I've noticed too is if we could take criticisms and judgments and gossip and rumors out of the conversation and replace them with dreams and ideas and visions and solutions, the outcome would be so much more beneficial and we would be a contribution. We would actually be participating in Mother Earth's creation birth because every day, all the time she's giving birth. We're actually in the birthing room every day.
Wow.
Mama's giving birth. I mean, if it's not baby birds and baby bunny rabbits, it's plants and trees and fish. I mean, something's being born all the time. And so it's
Wow.
like being in the room with the woman you love more than anything, and she's about to have a baby. How do you behave, right? You
Yes.
walk a little softer, you talk a little softer, you participate, you contribute. You want to be beneficial to this sacred event. We are literally walking through creation. It is a sacred event. Each moment is precious. Life is coming into being. And
Wow.
I think that's a good posture to assume now more than ever. Yeah,
Mm. So,
that's what I think
so
about that.
wonderful. I could sit and listen to you for hours. because it's so wonderful to meet a man of wisdom and a man of love and a man of character. It reminds me of the times long ago here, even in New York City, where we used to have more respect for our elders,
Yeah.
for the elders. As children, we would come around them, sit at their feet, and they would tell us stories,
Yeah.
and
The oral
sometimes
tradition.
they
Yeah.
would sing songs, and they would
Mm.
teach us songs, and the older women would teach us recipes of
Mm.
here, like my grandma. My grandma, she was a bush woman.
Mm.
She will go out to the earth, whatever it was that like if you had a cold or you didn't feel well, she had a herb for it.
Oh, yeah.
She had
They call
something.
it Nganga.
Yeah, she was
She's
a
a Nganga.
Blackfoot Indian.
Oh, yeah. Blackfoot
Hmm.
Indian, too. Yeah. Nganga, in Africa, they call the medicine people that work with plants, they
That's
call
yeah.
them Ngangas. And if they
Ning-
work with spirit, they call them Sangomas.
Oh,
Some people are both.
uh-huh.
Credo Mutwa was a Sangoma Nganga. I mean, he worked in both places.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's a
They still
pleasure.
hold that tradition. Speaking of that, uh, once upon a time, I was going to a village it was on the border of Botswana and Zimbabwe, and I got there late at night, so I didn't really see where I was. I mean, I could see some things, silhouettes and such,
Hmm.
but I went into this little. They called it a kraal. It was a small hut, and I went in there, and so I fell asleep. And the next morning, I woke up to this thumping sound, like a boom, 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 boom. So I kind of thought it was a ram pump or some kind of a functional. But then another sound entered the picture, like a psh, psh, boom, boom, psh, psh. And then another sound, diggity, diggity, boom. So it was like a percussion system
Oh,
of rhythmic sounds. So I got really curious. So I jumped up,
yes.
put my clothes on, I walked outside, and then I could see the village was shaped like a horseshoe. And
Wow.
all the kraals were facing each other. And in the center of the horseshoe was a well.
Oh.
And so folks were sitting out in front of each kraal doing something. Right in front of the kraal I was in, he was making cornmeal.
Mm.
So he had like a mortar and pestle and he was pounding on that corn. Boom, boom. And then next to him was a lady with a backstrap loom. And when she threw the shuttle back and forth, it would go psh, psh, as she was weaving. In front of each little hut, people were getting ready for the day by making food or making something what was necessary to get through the day. And they were doing it with such a sweet rhythm. The children were all dancing around the well to the rhythm that the
Wow.
adults were making when getting ready for the. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven.
I
I
hear
looked
you.
out and I said, "You can live like this?" And they go every day.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I said they're not on a supply chain.
Yes.
They know where all their food is. I mean, they're just kind of uh, a little almost like a mirage. They
Yes.
live in the forest and stay there and know everything they need is right there and they're like little shepherds, they're like stewards, they're like caregivers, just taking care of
Yes.
their spot. So I told everybody after that, I said, you want to learn about sustainability, you need to go see this village because
Wow.
they've been there 10,000 years with no help. They know
Wow.
exactly what to do, and dancing and singing is part of it. And so I said, this is beautiful.
Ooh.
I see that, see, and
Mm.
and I didn't realize it at the time. I knew it was impactful, but I
Mm-hmm.
carry that with me now, and I see that so like a vision. It's like a destination.
Yes.
I think if everybody somehow could do, then I started seeing cities differently. It was like
Mm.
all the cities were on life support. They
Wow.
don't build cities where the food grows. You got to pipe it in.
That's
In
true.
Atlanta, Georgia, for instance, there's millions, in fact, 5, 6 million people and only a 3-day food supply if the trucks stop running.
Wow.
So it's not sustainable. So I mean, the vast chasm between how cities are living and how
Mm-hmm.
tribal people live is and people say, well, they're primitive.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look primitive
Mm-hmm.
up, actually it means original, which is
Oh,
which is a different perspective on what that means
that's right.
to be at the beginning. And you can stay there because the Aborigine people in Australia, they treat each day like it's the first day. And
Wow.
so that's a beautiful theory as well, to get up every day as if this is the first day of the rest of my life.
Right.
And so indigenous people really got it going on. And so once you see that and live it and it becomes
Mm-hmm.
part of your heart and your character, it's difficult to maintain an urban existence, realizing that it's just not sustainable at all.
Yes,
It's chaotic
it
and
really
it
is.
promotes. It's like watching Mother Earth commit suicide in slow motion. Yeah, because if you think all of these cities, this is what the fellow told me at the economic forum. He said, all of the cities, I said, why do we have these thousands of cities that we have to give 80% of our resources to in order to keep them humming? He said,
Uh-huh.
well, we got to keep the economy going. I said, well, the economy's killing us. We can't support the economy. We're already using up 30% more resources than we can replace, and it's getting worse all the
Oh,
time.
wow.
And so if we were to actually give, this is what they came up with. If we were actually to give everybody in the world what these greedy nations have, these, what do they call them? The G7 or 11 or whatever, the first world nations or whatever they're called, the ones doing the most harm, are the
Mm-hmm.
ones with the most money. And if,
Mm-hmm.
and if everybody got what they got,
Yes.
we would need 3 more planets to supply the resources.
Wow.
There ain't enough on this one. And so the whole thing is a big old story. You know what I mean? It's not true, it's fiction.
Wow.
The truth is, we need to get back to the soil. We need to become shepherds and stewards and caregivers. If we want to keep this dream of life on earth alive, we have to act
Yes.
like we care about it. We have to do
Mm-hmm.
that. The first thing we have to do is start being kind to each other.
You're
We're all
talking
on we're
right.
all on the same rock. You know what I mean?
That's
We're all
right.
on the same journey, breathing the
So
same
true.
air. The one that I thought that makes us all have something beautiful in common.
What?
All 8 billion of us have a mother.
Uh-huh.
I think that's profoundly commonality. You could walk up
Uh-huh.
to anybody in the world and go, "How's your mama?"
That's
You
the
know what
truth.
I mean? And they know
That's
exactly what
right.
you're talking about.
Exactly. They
And
would
we all
know.
have an expiration date. You can't deny it.
Oh, yes.
So since you don't know how long you're going to be here, why not make it the best ride?
That's
Be
the
kind to
truth.
each other, help people when you can, serve the Lord. You know what I mean? Do good
Yes.
deeds. And then the destination will be right for your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren because you would have prepared the place for the next 7 generations.
So true.
Yeah. It's
So
it's
true.
it's so profoundly simple in its execution. People fail to see it. They think it's complicated or complex because they
Yes.
seem to be unwilling to give up some of these things that are destroying us.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and part of it is the language. Language is
Wow.
language is powerful. Words are powerful.
Yes, they are.
There's an old word in Arabic.
Uh-huh.
It's funny. I used to hear magicians say it, abracadabra,
So true.
but it actually, when I saw it translated, it means I create as I speak.
Oh,
That's
I
profound.
never knew that.
Yeah. I create as I
Abracadabra. I
speak.
create.
And so then if you're being kind and reverent and respectful, then you're creating respect and kindness.
Uh-huh.
And if you say horrible things, then you're creating horrible
Horrible
things.
things. Is that and in the Bible it says life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
See, and it's just as simple as
Abracadabra.
that. And it's so easy.
Wow.
Yeah, to just I mean, well, it's not easy. I guess if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. But once you see it, you know what I mean. You can't unsee it, and I
Yes.
think that's one of the reasons that a lot of these people are trying to make that like unavailable. Because
Uh-huh.
one of the things that I saw was, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. I'm doing a talk at a organization in the urban, like a Rotary Club kind of organization, Knights of Columbus or whatever. That they all have this Lions Club. And so we were talking about all of that. And so I'm saying, well, we got to, take care of our topsoil. We got to make sure the children are cared for in a good way. Make sure everybody's got plenty to eat. Make sure it's good food and the water's clean and all this kind. And
Mhm.
they're all nodding their heads. And I got through talking, and they said, Tom, we agree with you, and we really want to make the difference, and we're going to do all this we can. But I got a question for you. And I go, what's that? And he says, how are we going to make any money doing that?
Oh, wow.
I said, you didn't hear anything I said.
That's right. They wiped it all out.
I know
Wow.
it. I'm telling you, the reason a lot of people don't think they've been lied to and fed propaganda is simply because they've been lied to and fed propaganda. And it's
Uh-huh.
really deep and it's hard to break, and
Yes.
set yourself free. And
So
but that's the goal.
true.
That's what we need to do. My
Wow.
grandmother once upon a time told me, she said, grandson, she said, I had a vision. I said, what's that? She said, I see us all as ghosts driving flesh covered skeletons made out of stardust, riding on a rock, being hurtled through space at unprecedented speeds, and no one knows where we're going. So she said, I
Wow.
aspire at that point to eat the low hanging fruit and sing and dance and fall in love as soon as possible and stay there as long as I can.
Wow.
That sounds great, Grandma.
That is
So,
beautiful. That is
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, grandmothers. Mm.
Wow.
But I agree with you, the oral tradition, because, people can take languages that are written down
Uh-huh.
and rearrange them and take them out of context and
So
pick and
true.
choose. But the
So
oral
true.
tradition, like you said, children sitting at the feet of their elders and listening. And once upon a time, they said that, the story ended with the last elder that could tell the story.
Oh, wow.
Then it's just a bunch of lies agreed upon by people who were never there.
Hello. Hello. Yes.
It's great to have them.
Mm-hmm.
They say every time an elder passes away, thousands of books and libraries are gone.
Go with them.
All those
So
stories,
true.
all those lessons. Just like when the Washichu arrived a long time ago in New England, the first 10 years, they killed over 10,000 tribes.
Wow.
The New England area back in the, what was that, 1400s, 1500s. And so all that information, all that wonderful for thousands of years of knowledge about the food and the animals and the songs, all gone. It's
Yes. It was just wiped out.
crazy. Yeah, just like that. And
That's
so,
amazing.
that this was we weren't discovered. We were occupied.
Uh-huh.
There was people all over this country. I mean, we had Cahokia, we had cities. We were doing trade with Africa and Europe, and the Vikings were over here. I mean, we traded
Yes.
for a long time. We just never expected somebody to come over here and just kill everybody. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yes.
And just take it.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
all those years we were a trading opportunity. They all knew about us. We became
Mm-hmm.
a a
What are the names of some of the tribes that was there, Brother Blue?
some of the tribes that were here.
Yes.
Oh, there was a bunch. I mean, there's probably 600 nations and 6,000 tribes
Mm-hmm.
if you count Canada and Mexico and Central America, because it was all the Americas back then. It was just one,
Oh.
the eagle and the condor. The eagle was here in the northern parts, and down in the south it was the condor. And so, but we
Oh.
all had a single vision of peace and trade. And it was almost as if the language had three dialects.
Mm.
Back in those days, we talked we had a casual conversation. You could just, hey, what's going on? How are you know? And then you had a
Yes.
trade language. When it come to trading, it no longer was casual. It was trading. And then the ceremonial language. When you want to talk about the Creator and all of these wonderful characteristics, when that's when you go into ceremony and ritual and rites of passage, and you
Yes.
don't bind those dialects. You don't mix ceremony with casual. You don't mix the trade line. You separate them distinctly, and then it's real clear. What's happening.
Wow.
That was one of the aspects that I felt all the tribes honored that particular aspect. But at
Oh.
that time, the United States was split up into 5 provinces,
Oh.
and the Southeast. Actually, of the 2,000 herbs used by Native Americans, over 1,800 of them grew here in the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Smoky Mountains and this whole area. So
Wow.
this was considered the heart of Turtle Island because of the medicine. And then the out
Oh.
southwest in the Arizona area, New Mexico area, that area out there was considered the lungs. You know,
Oh.
if you got allergies or breathing problems, the asthma and such, they always send you to
Yes.
Tucson
So
or
true.
somewhere.
So
And
true.
then so in the Northwest, it was the pituitary and the pineal and the glandular system. And
Wow.
so each part of the country was a section of but the body that we
Oh.
all took care of. And then imagine in your language, and so the Southeast was called a little piece of heaven.
Oh.
Mm.
Wow. Well,
So
our
if you
show,
wake up every morning,
our
right,
brother
thinking you're
Blue,
waking up in a little piece of heaven, how sweet is that?
brother Blue Wolf,
Mm.
our show is coming to a close. I have 1 minute left, but I want to
Mm.
use that 1 minute to cordially invite you to come back and do a part two because you're so interesting. And it was such a
For sure.
pleasure having you. But we're closing out now. So, family, as usual, I always tell you, please keep on smiling, and you too can be a guest on Global Spotlight. And I know you have enjoyed our brother, Blue Wolf. Please come back again. So long, family. See you next time.
Bye for now.